together in one particular site, correct? So like this is like very powerful like software which is behind the Wikipedia. The Wikimedia Foundation. So what is this about? So this is like a non-profitable organization which is supporting all these projects uh, through providing like by maintaining the infrastructure, making sure like projects are up and running, and also empowering the projects for open to knowledge, right? So this is like an organization which is behind all of these projects which you see. Wikimedia movement and wiki, like this you'll be like knowing more like in upcoming slides. Can we go to next slide? Yes. So like why are we attending all these sessions, and like how are you like how you can see like Wikipedia is like so powerful, and like it has like all the knowledge which anyone can get the information, right? So how is this like mission growing a lot? Because like inside the Wikimedia there was a research conducted back in like around 2016 or 2015 sometime around that time, and they found like 60% of the 60 to 70% of the things that are coming to the Wikipedia and all the other projects are from the volunteers like you and me. So like as we're all coming together sharing our knowledge, could be articles, could be media files, could be technical, that's how we are empowering one single project and one single mission, like empowering the knowledge, correct? So it needs your help, my help, and all of our help to grow the mission. So let's see like how we can collaboratively learn together about the projects which Wikimedia has, and how we can contribute to those technically. So we can learn more about in the next slides. Yes. So there are like few steps in our contribution process. Firstly, it's like picking the right project. So many of the times what I see from the contributors who comes to Wikimedia by finding the Google Summer of Code or any of the sites, right? Like they see Wikimedia and then see, they only think like Wikimedia is like all about Wikipedia, but it's not. It's like much more than like what we all think. So finding a right project inside this Wikimedia Foundation world is like a first thing that everyone should be aware of, like what all projects that we have and how can we choose the project. Secondly, after choosing the project, we need to start installing the project in our local system, and that's how we play around with it, right? Like let's say I wanted to do something like change the Wikipedia logo in my local system. So we can't go ahead and then change the Wikipedia logo inside the wikipedia.org, right? Like that's not allowed. So, but you always wanted, you'll be having some other thoughts like how you can play around with the site and how you can add your own features to the site, correct? So that's cool. Like the open source provides you to play from the code base to like, write whatever you want and then see how things are changing. And if you'd like to add some interesting feature also, they're giving you full flexibility for you to play around and then contribute back to the ecosystem. So second step is to develop, like start installing the projects in your local system and make the environment ready. Thirdly, after you pick a project, install in your local system, you might be having some of your own ideas to implement some new feature. Or if not, like there are certain trackers called bug trackers inside the Wikimedia world. So usually like each your open source organization will be using their own bugzillas. How many of you are aware of GitHub? You can raise your hands in the Zoom. Cool. Oh, lot of people I can see. Great. So you might be using this GitHub as a tool to see the projects, to also see the issues which are reported in the issues tab, and also people talking on the each of the issue, right? Like discussing about the same. Similarly, Wikimedia also uses the Bugzilla called Fabricator. So I will also be sharing like how we can how the Fabricator looks and how we can find all the tasks into the Fabricator very soon. So as for most of the projects inside Wikimedia, we use this Fabricator to find all the bugs which are already reported inside these projects. In case if you like to add like your own feature, you can start creating a new issue in the Fabricator and then talk to the project maintainers. Also, take the feedback from the community and then start working on it. So thirdly, it's like to choose a particular task, or if you have your own area, report it as a issue in the Fabricator, take the feedback from the community, and then start working on that. So final step is to After we choosing a task, make the necessary code changes and upload all the code changes to back to the community. So the project maintainers of all of these will be reviewing your code, testing in their own environments, and then providing you with the right feedback. So that's how all of us like get a chance to work with the developers who are spread across the world. So trust me, like Wikimedia developer community is so huge, so diverse, and so big, and they're like so helpful. So I have been like involved in this community since last 6 years, and I have met like a few of the developers in person in some of the events. So they were quite helpful, and like they're also ready to like help us in understanding the code base to helping the setting up the environment as well as helping while doing solving the task. So it's like 4-step projects: picking a right project, installing the project in a local system, finding a right task, making the code changes, submitting back the code which you made to the system. So each feature that you add to the these projects, it will be reflected to hundreds of wikis. So you might be wondering like what are these hundreds of wikis? So since like Frederick also talked about the language wikis, like there are wikis for each language community, like Telugu Wikipedia, English Wikipedia, Hindi Wikipedia. So once you think let's say you have fixed some of the bug inside the Wikipedia, and that will be reflected to hundreds of wikis. So see how much impact that you are creating like by contributing to these projects, correct? So let's see like what are the other steps in the upcoming slide. Great. So we already talked about this, how to pick a right project. So let's see like what are the projects available in the upcoming slide. Ah, this is like very interesting slide. So since you can see the Wikipedia, which is like on top of the entire slide, like this is like no need of any introduction about it. Like most of you are aware of it. There are as I was mentioning, there are hundreds of other projects which are in the Wikimedia world. There is something called Wikimedia Commons. So let's also talk about the Wikipedia here. It's like an encyclopedia which provides you all the important information about the content, about any article or anything, whatever you imagine, correct? So when you open some of these sites called like Bangalore or like Vivekananda or India or like something like that, like you'll be also getting some of the images, right? Like the parks, the about the place, all of this. So how are these places and like all of these are coming from? So the Wikipedia also should be having some of the database to store all the media files, right? Let's say like images, videos, audios, and all of this. So all of these projects are there inside the project called Wikimedia Commons. So this is also one of the very popular Wikimedia project where it will be mostly dealing with the media files, yeah, like images, audios, videos, and so on. So it's like huge ecosystem starting from the encyclopedia content, images, videos, right? Like there are quite a lot of projects called Wikidata. So you might be seeing like all the content which are there in the Wikipedia or like a mostly unstructured, right? Like some you may be feeling like finding some of the information called date of birth of some famous freedom fighter. Like in the article, it might be somewhere mentioning by some person. So sometimes we find the information in unstructured way. So there is another project called Wikidata where like we organize all the information that we find in a structured way and utilize for the most of our projects again. So, like for indexing, let's say the Google, like when you search something in Google, and it should be finding the right keywords to index the pages and then rank you better to find you the most relevant search for you, right? So, how does this all happen? There should be like one structured DB which empowers all of your projects, right? So that is something called Wikidata, and I'm sure like you'll be knowing more about these projects in upcoming days of your workshop. So in the similar way, there is something called Wikiversity, like again for the universities, KOH, like as like some of you might be interested in traveling. So this is like some wiki which is mostly focused on wiki voyage. If you let's say if you are traveling to Delhi for the very first time and do not know anything. So this is the project where you'll be using to find some of the important information which is only required for the travelers. So similarly, I would request all of you to remember or at least have a look at some of these words. So in case if you come across any of these in future, you can relate the content, you can do your own research because we don't have the time to talk about each and every project. So like in case if any one of you are specifically interested to contribute to any of this, there are like huge number of tasks which are already reported in the Fabricator. So you can pick them and then start contributing to the same. So Wikisource, Wikibooks, all of these are like very famous projects which we may not be really aware of, but since like most of us are using Wikipedia in our day to day, it's like a very famous project. But we do have like lot of millions of users using all of these projects which you are seeing on the screen. So I would highly recommend you to go through all of these like in your free time, and then yeah, like we can have a more in detail discussions in maybe in upcoming lectures. So let's go to the next slide. Yeah, as we are talking about lot of things in the Wikimedia world, like you might be wondering how I as a developer can contribute to this, correct? So there are like these are the areas which are there in the Wikimedia world, like, which are categorized into specific categories. So the bottom layer, which you are seeing in the screen, like SRE, Ops, QA, VPS, Toolforge, these are the also areas that are there in the system, in the Wikimedia ecosystem, but not like very beginner friendly. Wikimedia encourages like anyone volunteer like who is really interested to in any of these areas to come forward and then contribute to it. There are still like some of the developers, volunteer developers who are also been contributing to SRE world, but these are not like very beginner friendly. So since like some of us, like most of us here are like beginners to like the open source world, I would recommend to have a look at the top layer of the slide, documentation. Let's say some of us are not really techie, so we might be interested in contributing to documentation, designing, translation. We have like a lot of projects on these areas as well, which are related to technical projects again. So if you might be like very good in like understanding the PHP code and want to start documenting the some of the code base in the wikis, so this is like these are like some of the areas which you might take a look at. And we also like, let's say like you are a mobile app developer and you might have some experience like developing some of the applications like Android or Flutter or so. So inside the Wikimedia world, we still have a projects in all of these areas. So these areas are like a very beginner friendly: mobile apps, desktop applications, skins, extensions, core, templates, gadgets, boards, and so on. Some of these you might be not understanding at the moment, but like let's discuss more in detail in the upcoming slides again. So when I was talking about the extensions, right? Like it's how can we explain this like in simple manner? How many of you here had eaten margarita pizza? I see like no hands raising up. Like, is the session too boring? Oh, cool. Yeah, some of you are raising hands. Cool. You are still like awake and listening to the session. Awesome. So yeah, so Margarita pizza provides like a very basic flavor of the pizza taste, right? And like by adding toppings to the pizza, it will obviously like become like much. It will add like a taste, lot of taste to the pizza, correct? Similarly, the MediaWiki, it's a core software which provides the core functionality for the Wikipedia, and extensions or like additional modules which we can add it to Wikimedia for flavors. So if we add like more paneer, mushroom, chicken, and all of these, like it will be like more tasty for the pizza, right? In similar way, if we add like more extensions to the MediaWiki software, it will add like lot more ability for the core software to function better. So this is like one of the favorite, like my favorite extension called MediaWiki's revision slider. So this provides ability for to track the differences between the versions of the one particular Wikipedia article. So this doesn't come with the core functionality, but if you wanted to install this, you need to install like additional extensions called revision slider. There are like hundreds of extensions available in case if you would like to add like your own extensions to the core software. We still have like projects for you. So it's time for you to explore Wikipedia, see what's already there and what's new. You can add the value to it. So these are the ways that you can contribute. So this is like all about extensions, and we can like go to next slide. Yes, desktop applications. So we also have something called Kivix. So which is like running a Wikipedia in like laptops with least configurations. So there are like hundreds of schools like across the world like who doesn't have like good infrastructure, laptops, mobiles, internet, and so on. So we still have like a Wikipedia which is running in the like smallest applications as well. like devices as well. So if you are interested to contribute in these areas, we still have projects for you. So in the upcoming slide could be like mobile applications. If you are like a mobile developer, we have like one favorite, my favorite project is Wikimedia Commons app. So you can take images of any of the unique sites and then freely upload to the Wikimedia Commons with a CC by SA license. So that is also like one of the way which you can contribute to Wikimedia by contributing to these softwares, the mobile applications and so on. Next slide. So if you are interested to like write some of the tools, let's say like you have, like as we were discussing about the previous project, right? Like uploading an images, uploading a videos by recording using the Commons app. So you might be needing some of the tools to crop some of the areas inside the image which you already took, like trim the video which you wanted to upload and then upload, right? All of these are like tools which you can develop your own tool which can support the Wikimedia to function better. So inside the Wikipedia, like hundreds of tools might be needed to support these projects to function like much better, and also help the editors who are using these particular tools in a day to day and then make their work much faster. So you can build your own tools, and Wikimedia gives all the freedom for you to provide the for the infrastructure or to provide you with the technical support or so. So in case like we also have like hundreds of tools and thousands of balls which are there in the ecosystem, and if you want to contribute to these areas, we still do have projects for you. In upcoming slides. Yeah, we also have projects on machine learning. One of the favorite project is like ORIS. Like this is something which our interns of outreach had also worked in the past cohorts in back in like 2022 and 2021 as well. So we have like dedicated mentors for these projects as well. Slide, next slide, please. Yeah, we also have like projects on analytics. Next, gadgets. You might be not knowing more about this, but I'm sure like you'll be learning to build your own gadget and then your own user script in upcoming sessions. Yeah, so these are like high level projects and high level areas which are there in the Wikimedia ecosystem. And some of us might be really not good in like contributing like technically, right? So we have projects, something called Translate Wiki. So if you can see the Wikipedia and then change the language to Telugu, Hindi or so, the entire page will be get translated to different project, like different language, right? So how is it working? So there is something called Translate Wiki as well. That's a different project. So if you are interested to contribute to translating the content from one language to different language, we still have some area for you. So like just let me know like post this session, like I would be able to help you find the relevant project and you can contribute to these areas. Next slide, please. Yeah, setting up the development environment. We already talked about it, like at the beginning of the session, like how we can install the particular project. But see, each and every project will be having its own steps to install the particular project. But most of the times, we as a developers get confused and then always ending up installing the project called MediaWiki. So that's how I also started back in 2017. So when I was contributing, I only know about something called like MediaWiki, and that's how I contributed to the single area of the ecosystem. But later I got to know like it's not about just MediaWiki and it's much more. So recently I was writing my own user scripts, my own user tools, which are supporting for the volunteers who are contributing in day to day to Wikimedia world. So I would recommend you to start developing, setting up the environment for a required project alone instead of like ending up installing like different project which you may not be interested in. So that's one thing you should always remember in upcoming step. Yeah, Fabricator. So I would highly recommend to open this particular link which you are seeing on the screen, and then create your own account. So inside the Wikimedia world, there are like hundreds of wikis, and like a couple of times you need to create your own user account. So mediawiki.org is one of the place where you need to create your own user account and then give the same to the Fabricator. So Fabricator works with multiple authentication methods. One way is to have you in the credentials of MediaWiki software, where you will be creating an account. Unfortunately, I am unable to share the screen, but I will try to share after completing this session. I'll try to join from the browser and then try to share the screen to show you like how we can navigate to the Fabricator as well, and also creating an account. So this is the Bugzilla which I was talking about, where you can see like all the discussions which are happening inside the Wikimedia world. Next slide, please. So after we identifying project, contributing, and then we should submit all the code back to the ecosystem, right? So primarily we use something called Git. So like most of you might be like told like you have used the GitHub for the code review system, right? For your open source projects. Similarly, the Wikimedia uses Git, GitLab, GitHub, and all of these tools for its own code review system. But most of the projects inside the Wikimedia are hosted in Git. So you can clone these repositories, you can submit your patches to the Git back where the community will review your patches, provide your feedback and so on. So this is something which you also need to create your developer account and then get logged in here. So this is again which I would recommend you to bookmark the link and then create your account before the upcoming days. So it will be like very helpful for you to navigate towards all of these sites in upcoming lectures. Yeah, so this is like very interesting, like most interesting part of the entire session, like outreach programs and the events. You might be thinking like why I should contribute something for free, and like some of you may be really interested and then contribute to, or it's like the motto of the foundation, right? Like which is empowering like free knowledge, open access to the knowledge. So we also do participate, we from the Wikimedia Foundation, from these programs like Summer of Code, Outreachy, from like last few years. I think this is around 29th round, which we had participated in the Outreachy, which is organized by the Outreachy Freedom Convocacy, and Google Summer of Code, which is the program conducted by the Google. I think now we have been participating in this program from last 18 plus years, if I'm not wrong. So in case if you would like to be part of either of these programs and then contribute, I think like the upcoming Google Summer of Code will be starting in a few months from now. I think it starts from April or so. So Wikimedia is like one of the organization which has been participating in this program from quite a long. So I would like you to also explore these projects, like these programs, and then see if in case if you're eligible to participate in. And two other things which logos which you are seeing on the screen, like Wikimedia Hackathon and Wikimania. So these are like two of the programs, like annual programs, which are hosted by the foundation. Usually, it's not like it will be happening every year, but most of the times it is happening from last quite some time. So Wikimedia Hackathon is, sorry. I think we'll be coming back to the Q&A at the end of the session. So Wikimedia Hackathon is some program like which is mainly focused for the technical contributors. So since like we were talking about this technical developers spread across the world, this is an event where we all of us like meet in person at one particular venue, discuss about the projects, discuss about like how we are uh, contributing to the projects, learn more about each other, form bonds, form network connections, and all of this. So this is the place like where it focus on the technical community alone. And so this year the Wikimedia hackathon is happening in Estonia, and last year it happened in Greece. So Athens in Greece, capital of Greece, Athens. So like Wikimedia Foundation do support some of us as a volunteers who has been contributing actively these projects with the scholarship opportunities as well. In case if you weren't able to sponsor yourself for all of these events, Wikimedia do support you by providing the scholarships in case if it is available for them. And you can attend these programs like international conferences, international programs, and then improve yourself as well. And Wikimania, this is an event which is again like a foundation has been organizing from quite some time. This is basically an event which collaborates between like which is for all the people who are there in the movement. It's a developers, non-developers, editors, contributors, media, like like all the people like, who are part of this movement. So they do organize like annual conference in some part of the world. Last year it happened in Singapore. Again, like I was fortunate to attend this and then present some of the programs which I was doing in my own in this particular events. So again, like Wikimedia Foundation do supports with scholarship for the active people who are involved in the communities for most of these conferences as well. So it's like a win-win, right? Like it's like one of the motivation for you also to meet the people like who is spread across the globe. So yeah, these are the some interesting programs that you can research about it and apply in future as well. So next slide. Yeah. So GSOC, like I will just talk about GSOC for a couple of minutes. It's like a 3 months long internship period where you can get a chance to participate and work with the mentors which are from the Wikimedia in the Wikimedia world. So they will be helping you to contribute to the specific projects across 3 months where you can work on the coding projects as well as non-coding. Google Summer of Code, most of the times we have will be prioritizing the coding projects. And outreach, we also have some of the non-coding projects as well, which includes documentation, designing, and so on. So Google Summer of Code happens like once a year, and outreach happens twice a year. So it's like round one and round two, like for two cohorts. So one round usually happen from May to August, another from like December to February. So I would highly request you to explore these projects, check your eligibility, and then take a look. Next slide. Application process. Like first thing, like most of the time, some people might be not eligible for this program, but Google recently changed the policy for the Google Summer of Code like very recently. So most of us like it is now allowing to participate like even if you are not students. So I would encourage you to check the eligibility first and then start knowing more about the program. So in this process, we would be starting with like picking the one or two projects. Like I would not encourage you to do like a, uh, I think like a contribute to like three, four projects because the quality of the contributions that we are making matters a lot. So in case if we choose like multiple projects and then only like contribute very little to each of those, like there'll be like very less chances for us to get selected. So I would recommend you to just pick like one or two projects and make small and consistent contributions towards these projects. So most of the times people come pick the like typo mistakes in these projects and do like around 10-20 typos they solve and then go. So that doesn't really help, right? Like there should be like some quality contributions that we should be making and consistently. So these are like some of the steps that we need to recommend. Like we need to be followed. And finally, we need to draft a proposal, project proposal, and then submit. Next slide, please. So this is like a secret tips for all of you attending the session today. So since I have been mentoring in these programs and also managing the program in the Wikimedia from last 4 years. So these are like the areas which we observe to for the successful applicants. So starting contributions to these projects early is like one thing which will make the particular applicant stand out from the crowd. So I would recommend you to start contributions very early, as well as finding the projects which are relevant to our skills. So maybe I'm not a PHP developer. So in case if I pick something project which is completely in PHP, I may not be ending up completing this project successfully, right? So choosing a project is also like a very important thing in the entire application process. So yeah, as I was talking about like quality contributions, that's like one of the important criteria that we will be reviewing in the applicant's proposals. So that's one thing we should definitely follow. As well as like I would recommend you to keep um, in touch with your mentor and then get their feedback ready. So that's one thing, and you should also be asking like all of your questions to the developers in the community, not like one to one in a private chat. So all of these things matter. So these are like some of the tips that I thought of like sharing with you. Next slide. Yeah. So these two are like the some of the resources that might be helpful for you for as a beginner to get started with. So you can also bookmark these links and then explore on your own. So I think, yeah, that's what like I have planned for today. But I will try to reshare my screen and then like walk you through some of these areas. Before that, like any questions so far? Oh, no questions. That means like either I'm really good in explaining things, or like I'm really bad and I made you bored. So before like we start sharing the screen, like this is the time for you to ask any of your questions which are there in your mind.
Gopa, would you be able to share the screen?
Yes, I'm trying from a different account. Like, give me a minute.
Yeah, I'm just allowing this to you now. Add minutes. Yeah.
Meeting is being recorded.
Well, let me check what best I can.
Can you?
Hey, you need to unmute one of your mic. Just check now. Would you be able to do that? You're muted, Gopa.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible now. You're audible. You can switch off one of the mic, or if an external mic, you just switch off.
One of the applications,
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
And is my screen also visible?
Not yet. 1 second. Let me stop our screen then.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Just share the screen now.
Yes. Please grant access to share screen. Oh, sorry, like I think something is really wrong with my system today. I'm unable to share screen.
Yeah, now I can see that. Yes.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. So this is something which I was talking earlier called like Fabricator, which will be inside the Wikimedia will be using for tracking like all of the bugs which are reported into the system. Let me log in a very quick. Yeah. I can also show you this, I think. Let me cancel Fabricator again. So let me share the link in the chat. I'm not sure like how I can access the chat. I found it.
Not a problem. What will they do? Like,
Yes, great.
what we can do is probably anyway we are sharing that presentation with these people, right?
Yeah.
So we just ensure that they can check the proper links and they can attend.
Sure,
Okay?
definitely.
Because sometimes now what happens is the moment once you say na, they may not pay attention to the what you're saying. They
Yes,
click on the new window to do that, right? So after the session, they can do that activity.
Definitely. So
Thank you.
now I will give a demo like how it is like how we can get the developer accounts and then get a hang of these multiple tools that we'll be talking about. So this is something called Fabricator where we'll be using to check all about the projects, the issues which are already reported, and how we can contribute. What are the things which we can use to filter out the easy and good first bugs, right? So first thing is to create an account in MediaWiki for logging into Fabricator. So on click of login, there's something called login with the MediaWiki. So MediaWiki is a software which I was telling you to which empowers the Wikipedia, right? Like we need to go to MediaWiki.org, create an account, and then use the same to log into the Fabricator. This has been complete. Yeah, I already logged in here. So I can use this particular project to find the projects related to, like I can explore here, tasks and bugs. In case if you are like interested to contribute to specific project, you can contribute like a search about the projects here, something like a extension division slider. Yeah. So it will redirect you to the particular project page. In case if you want to learn more about the project, there is something called like a project page where you can find the relevant links about the particular project. Let's say like I am interested to contribute to this project and I don't know where to find the documentation. This is the page where you want to visit. Check the descriptions which are linked here, find more about the project and install it, do contribute to the same. So these are the documentation where you can find to install about the project. And to find the issues which are already reported in this project, there is something called workboard where you can see the issues which are already reported. In case if you would like to propose your own new feature to the tool, you can come here, like report the bugs and then start taking the community feedback. Also turn it on. Yeah. So you can see like all the discussions which are happening in the tool, and like also recommend you to like explore the tool. Like but one thing you need to definitely remember is like when you start working on a particular item, maybe like someone else like in the world might also be interested to contribute and then solve the same issue, right? So you should come here, assign the bug to yourself and then start working on it, so the others who can see there is something which is already assigned, they will not be interrupting you in solving the same issue. So this is something like I would like you to explore. But to find the easy and good first bugs, so there is something called easy good first tag here which you can use, and click on this, it will be taking you to the task which doesn't have any patch made. So using this advanced search, you can add a tag called good first task, and like if you would like to add like more tasks, you can also add them here. If not, this is like a one recommended tag for you to add, and then on click of search, it will list down all the issues which are there here reported, which are like a very good first task for us to get started with. So we can see like more about these particular items here. Learn more. In case if you do not know which project this is talking to, there are like tags which are assigned to this. There's something called metrics platform backlog. This task is belongs to this particular project, and to know more about this particular project, we can go back to the project page and see the repositories which are linked to here. So this project is hosted in the GitLab, but some other projects may not be using the same thing. So in the wiki, since the Wikimedia ecosystem is so huge, some of the projects are hosted in GitLab, some are in GitHub, some are in the Gerrit. So based on the project, you should be able to find the code base where it is deployed, and then clone the project and then start working on the tickets. And there is something called Gerrit which I mentioned. So let me take you to. Yes, so this is something called Gerrit. So where we can upload our own patches. This is very similar to GitHub, which you are using, but it's little tricky. But once you get habituated to it, like you'll be, I'm sure like you'll like it. So you can like once you start working on the ticket, you should be like submitting the code back to the community for the review, right? So let's say there is a user which made this particular commit, like upgrading the footer UI. So he uploaded the patch to the community where our maintainers will be reviewing the code and then providing you the feedback. So this will provide you with the nicer view to see like what the code changes are made. So this is like a previous version, and the right hand side is like a latest version of the code. So even in Gerrit, like we should be able to log in using our technical account. Let me sign out. So once you create the account in the MediaWiki, that's where like you get an access to the Fabricator, and for you to host your own tools on Wikimedia, there is something called WikiTech. If you can create your own account here, you will be also getting an access to our cloud services, our ToolForge. There is something called ToolForge, which will allow all of our users to deploy the tools which are relevant to Wikimedia into the Wikimedia cloud services. Like, you need not to worry about the cost of the service, cost of the server, DB, and so on. So Wikimedia provides all the infrastructure which are relevant, like which are needed for your project to run successfully. So so few things that you need to remember: explore the project Fabricator, explore GitLab, Gerrit, MediaWiki, WikiTech. So for all of this to get started with, there is something called MediaWiki new developers page. This is one thing you need to remember, and this is like a place where you can get started with. So you can where you'll be finding all the relevant information for the beginner developer community, to understand about the Wikimedia ecosystem, technical projects, and place to start finding a project, finding a code base, and then takes your journey from here. So this is like one helpful page, and these are like projects which are listed here, which are highlighted here. Like, you need not to contribute to the projects which are mentioned here, but there are like a lot more. But these are like very beginner friendly project where we do have the project maintenance, which will be who will be supporting you throughout your journey. So this is like one of the project which I was maintaining inside the Wikimedia world called Video Cut Tool. And yeah, so we still have like a last 15 minutes before we end of the session. But in case if you have any of the questions, like this is the time again.
Okay, first of all, thank you, Mr. Vasanth Gopa, for your talk on the Wikipedia ecosystem and how we as new developers can contribute to the various wiki projects using tools such as Fabricator and Gerrit. So we do have some questions in the chat right now. I will first of all answer one question by Navya Shri. Because we have some attendees from a separate hackathon who are attending this Wikipedia tech session as well, so that they can also better know the ecosystem. So to all the participants of that hackathon, yes, this session is to help you get familiar with all the tools. After this, after attending all these day sessions, not just for this day, but for other days, you will know all the tools and all the in-depth knowledge in order to create your own tools for the hackathon. So that is for Navyashri's question. And I will hand over Mr. Tarun's question to you, Gopa.
Sure, please.
Yeah, so to repeat the question, Mr. Tarun wants to know what are the top coding skills needed to develop these coding projects?
Sure, I can see this question in the chat as well. So see, like since we are discussing like more about the ecosystem, number of projects that we have it in the place, like while I was sharing my screen, I can also show you that. So each project has its own tech stack inside the Wikimedia world. So, but if you want to contribute to core of the Wikipedia, which is like MediaWiki software, like most of the software is written in the PHP, but some of the modules which you can see as extensions or again like will be there in their own technology. So the slider which you was talking about, revision slider extension, that is something which is written in the jQuery, JavaScript basically. And you can also see some of the project which I was showing here, like Android application, again, which is the skills required is Java here. The tools, video code tool, again, the skills required is React.js, Node.js. For the Scribe project, iOS, Swift, Kotlin, PyWiki board, like there's something called Python. So like there are hundreds of tools, all the tools with diverse technologies like Ruby, JavaScript. So I would, like that is the reason, like based on your own interest or your own technical strength, I would recommend you to choose the project and then start working on that. So to filter out that, you can also filter out the projects about JavaScript here. And then this will list the projects which are having the JavaScript projects to you. Open task with the JavaScript. So this particular bugs may be needing the JavaScript knowledge to solve and then break it. So it's not like one particular technology. It's like based on your interest, we have projects, like wide number of projects for you. So there is some other question that I can see. Can we know an overview of this Indic Wiki Hackathon and what's gonna be our contribution in it?
Sorry, I'll take care of that part. Actually, this session involved two kind of participants. One is with the women, we asked a couple of engineering colleges to nominate some people because we find a lot of gender diversity and gender gap between the developer community and as well as wiki community. So we have some of the participants who represented from the respective colleges. On March 8th, 9th, we're connecting Women Hackathon exclusively for women on a wiki ecosystem. So these people coming to Hyderabad, IIIT, and we make sufficient arrangements. And for the 24th hackathon, they try to solve the problem. But before they joining, we thought they should understand the ecosystem first. They understand what is a fabricator, how to raise the queries, how to kind of request queries. So this is what we're planning to schedule this kind of sessions. This session for 6 days, including hackathon participants and regular Wikipedia participants. And as you know, IIIT also connecting every year we have like a technical summit, Wiki Technology Summit, where I found a less representation from the student community and new developer community. So we thought we can call these people as a part of this training session, so they get familiar with these technologies. And probably we going to join on a Wiki Technology Summit, or if any further activities are required to Wiki ecosystem, they'll be part of that, right? So we have two kind of people here. One is most of the female participants represented by colleges. So we ensure, please communicate to your friends if the people don't join with us, maybe due to some reasons. Please ensure that they should join these sessions till Saturday, so that they get familiar with the Wikipedia ecosystem, so they can participate in a hackathon with a kind of concrete output, right? That's one. Second one, those people learning the technology in these sessions, they contributed, and definitely they've been part of some project which is addressed by Gopa, like a Google Summer Code or Wikimedia kind of thing. They'll get that kind of activity, right? And also, people don't ask what that reason. So, what is the career benefit people will get by attending and contribute to Wikipedia? And probably you know that Gopa work for one company, and everybody in Wikipedia, they do voluntary service. But like when the moment once you go to the interview panel or interview, they're going to ask a couple of questions, right? What is your contribution levels? Where you showcase the skills, like what is because whole world respect the Wikipedia and the whole world respect this ecosystem, because there is a future. Like if you look at any automated bots, any machine learning, anything with a data driven, language technology driven, they have to depending on a Wikipedia like technologies, like open source technologies, right? So by contributing these projects, you're not only helping the community, and also you're helping yourself in a code reviews, like because except a couple of premium institutions, very few colleges got this kind of opportunity to go through that. Even when we discussed the Gopa and everything, we thought, why don't we have some kind of session like this, so that we can actually, because people like Gopa and everything, they actually do very hard learning, right? At least we thought we can take help from people like Gopa, and we have around very, very great people going to train us, so that we can take all their experience and all their inputs. So we have a decent knowledge to contribute any of the open source project, and as well as also you'll get this kind of participation that can improve the chances of in career also, right? So those are two we're promising that. The part of that, we're not promising any great employability or great opportunity, but definitely most of the wiki contributors are rated best in their team and kind of thing. You learn the basics, testing, coding, community development, community review, and we celebrate like hackathons. Like that's one of the most fun happening in hackathons, right? So you will get advantage for those things, right? Anything related to like a hackathon, probably we're going to speak only after 3rd of March. We're going to tell you for all the participants who are registered already. We got around 130 plus participants from different colleges in Telangana and 2-3 colleges in across the India, right? So this is only for women's practice. So we can refine those discussions after this session. Right. So meanwhile, if you have any problem, and as I mentioned, we're going to like please communicate to your participants to attend the sessions. Right. If you have any queries, you please ask me now. Unmute yourself and ask me. Yeah, you definitely will get a participant certificate, but again, there'll be catch. We're expecting because Wikipedia, everything is very transparent, very open, right? So by just listening, you don't get a participant certificate. So we're going to tell you like what is your contribution levels. Like at least you be a developer, you start some kind of ticket, you do something, but everything can be you definitely get a participant certificate if you. But it is not something like for participant certificate. I don't require to you attend the session, right? So I wanted you to contribute, and definitely everybody will get a participant certificate. Those are contributed to Wikipedia that can show, and that is project by IIIT, right? That what significance of the participation, right? Yeah, any queries? Yeah, Gopa, you're not audible. You want to tell something?
Hello, sir. Hello.
Unmute yourself, please.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Please speak.
Hello, sir. Can I hear?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Sir, we need to develop a code for projects, coding projects.
Yeah, if you're a developer, there's one of the way you can develop that. Otherwise, if you want to do testing, you can do the testing. If you want to do documentation, you can do the documentation. You just do bug tracking, you definitely do that. You have enough space to play around. Don't scare that you need to develop a lot of things. No. But as Gopa said, take small, nice, make some nice contribution, and that's sufficient for the community. And also, Gopa provided a link in a chat. Please, everybody click on that and try to work on it. Gopa, still we couldn't able to hear. Priyanka, I believe you're talking for a hackathon point of view. Priyanka,